So welcome everyone to our Spectrum NXT multi-tenant Q&A session. We're going to be really talking about what this multi-tenant platform will do for you. I'd like to introduce Jeff Armstrong, our Chief Product Officer, and Brandon Keir, our Product Manager. They'll be presenting to you today to go through what this multi-tenant platform can do for you. So I'm going to kick it over to Brandon to kick us off. Go ahead, Brandon.
Awesome. Thanks, Amy. So first, we just wanted to dive into what is multi-tenant, right? What does that mean? Very simply, it just means that we have a single instance of our software, of the portal that we host on our servers, which serves multiple clients from that same instance. So single tenant, which is what we had before, is where you have separate instances of the software for each client. So multi-tenant is really a very common architecture that you'd see from most SaaS companies. In fact, it is the architecture that we are using currently for our GE NXT product. So it's all the same there. While we have that same instance of the software, all of your data is still isolated. So that is all still secure. And you might be wondering, well, what kind of changes might we see? And that's what we wanted to get into today. Other than the latest upgrade and some of the new features and enhancements we've made there, you and your external stakeholders really won't be noticing any differences between multi-tenant and our single tenant version that we had before. So the custom skin, that's your header, your footer, your logos, fonts, all of that's been moved to multi-tenant. All of that will stay the same, as well as your URLs. So everything there should be the same, and really there shouldn't be any interruptions for your stakeholders. We can go on to the next slide. Awesome. So why did we do this? What are the advantages of multi-tenant? And really the biggest one is that all of our releases that are pushed out on a regular basis, you will get to be on the latest version, worry-free every time, all the time. Whereas before, you might have had to contact us, make sure that you're on the latest version. It could be easy to fall behind. And so what this does is it allows our engineering staff to spend less time upgrading each client and more time developing these features and fixing bugs and enhancements where we can. So hopefully, with this easier maintenance of a multi-tenant platform, your relationship with support is greatly simplified and more frictionless. That's really it in a nutshell. You can expect more frequent updates and never have to worry again about being on the latest version.
Great, thank you, Brandon. Awesome. Before Jeff kicks off here, if you have any questions, please feel free to enter them in the Q&A section of the Zoom chat. And Jeff, are you ready to go?
Yes, ma'am. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, folks. Brandon has just spoken about what the architectural changes were in this new instance. I'm going to talk a bit about what's new in the latest version of Spectrum that you guys are all running now, 2.7.1.0. As you guys were migrated, or as you're being migrated this week to this newer version of Spectrum, you may have been on an older version and not seen some of these latest enhancements. So I'll briefly talk through these 5 bullet points, and then once we wrap up here, I'll switch over and show you in our sandbox what these changes are. So the first one is going to be an enhancement to donations. It's a couple of small changes that we've made. We're in the middle of making some bigger changes there as well. But if you're doing donations through Blackbaud Merchant Services in your Spectrum web portal, then you can now do those in addition to fund holders being able to log in and make donations to their own funds. Now the general public can come to your Spectrum web portal and make donations to the funds that you have specified to be publicly available for receiving donations. We'll show that in just a second. So you can use this now for your giving day. You can put a link on your website that says give now and just point them over to the Spectrum portal where they can make a public donation without having to log in or authenticate. So the next change that we've made here is that we've reorganized for fund holders their saved recommendations page. That list of grant recommendation history included pending submissions that they hadn't yet submitted. It had included ones that were in process, things that were already finished, recurring, sort of all in the same place. And we've segmented those so that they can find things easier. So we'll look at that in just a second. We have also added a couple of small enhancements for the reviewer screen based on some feedback from you all that we've just gone and made some usability enhancements to make things more user-friendly for those committee members to score applications. We've made some performance improvements for applicants. So grant applicants, scholarship applicants, as they're saving an application, if it was a very big application with a whole lot of fields on it, and there's a lot of data in your database, sometimes that save function was taking a long time. And we have significantly improved the performance of that save function. And then there were just some other small miscellaneous bug fixes and enhancements that have been cleaned up as well. The full list of release notes is available within the Spectrum web portal. So that is, those are the highlights. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, Amy, if that's all right. And we will jump in and take a look at what's in here. I'll go ahead and share my screen. All right, so hopefully folks can see the Sandbox 1. This is our Sandbox environment. We did migrate Sandbox 1, our internal demo environment. We migrated it to this multi-tenant instance of the Spectrum web portal. So in fact, this was the first client, the first tenant to go onto the new portal, if you will. So this is using the latest software. Before I even log in, I'm going to go to this donate page. You'll notice the URL is just the Spectrum URL with a donate integrated at the end of it. You'll notice I'm not logged in. The sign in button here is, or sign in link is telling me that I'm not yet signed in. I can choose a fund. And so any of these funds in GE on the fund record, you can specify whether a fund is able to publicly receive donations. By default, those are all turned off, and you can turn on a handful of them if you like. So I'm going to go ahead and give some money to the Jill Byrne Family Foundation. I can choose these amounts, or I can do an other amount. Again, these are all configurable per fund. There's some defaults at the foundation level too. So I'm going to do $100. I'll just make a note here that this is a test. My browser has remembered some information here, so I took a little shortcut, and now I can choose if I want to do a recurring gift or a one-time. This will be with credit card, make a donation, and this is going to bring up our Black Button Merchant Services form for filling out this this online donation, making the payment. I'm not going to do this now, but once the payment's made, of course, it will record that gift record in the Razor's Edge in your CRM system. It'll try to find an existing constituent by email address, and if not found, then it can use a shared anonymous gift giver, sort of constituent to record that gift. So this is one of many enhancements coming soon to online donations. We're just looking to revamp the functionality here. And so this was the first change that we made. Any questions on that, feel free to type in the chat. I'm going to move on now to the next item I wanted to show you here, and this is the fund holder portal. Let me sign in. I'm going to sign in with an account that's got access to all the portals, an admin account here. So I'm going to go to the fund holder portal, and we're going to go to saved recommendations. And this is a screen that we have significantly enhanced here. So significant improvements here. The list of saved recommendations now has 4 tabs of recommendations across the top. The first one is the saved recommendations. These have not yet been submitted. These can either be still in a created state or possibly submitted with an additional signature still pending if you have a fund that requires multiple signatures. These can be, if you like, you can select 3 or 4 of them and just go ahead and submit all. And this will let you submit all of them at the same time. Handy little shopping cart feature there. The next tab is the recommendations that are in process. Any of these which have been submitted, but who still have at least one payment that is still outstanding and scheduled. These are going to be the ones that are in process. So they may be partially paid, they may be not yet paid. But once all the payments have been paid, it'll go into this column. These are the ones that have been processed and completely paid out. And then we've put the recurring recommendations in a tab on their own. So these recurring recommendations correspond with designated grants in GE Classic. These are all recurring and active already, but if this one was active, I could cancel I could cancel my, one of the options that would be available here would be to cancel. So if I say, okay, I'm finished with this recurring gift that's monthly to whatever this organization is, I can cancel from here. So that's the save recommendation change. Hopefully the fund holders will really appreciate this new easy to use and easy to understand functionality here. We can rename these, we can relabel these if necessary for you. The last thing I want to show you here is just a couple of small enhancements to the reviewer screen. So I'm going to go to our committee member reviewer portal. And as I'm reviewing an application, this is the screen that the reviewer will see. The first tab here is this review tab that just has the scoreable questions down here. It's got their overall score, their recommendation, however you want to label these, and then the comments. So the changes we've made here are a few. One, you'll notice there's no more save button. As they score a question, it's being saved automatically. So no need to try to remember, have I saved my work? We're saving it all the time. So we've simplified that significantly, made the data a bit safer there. We now have a score button. This button to score the question, it used to be a link, wasn't necessarily self-explanatory. So the button here to go score this application, to pop that up and score it. Same with the drop downs, you can do those too. So little button there to score the questions. And then finally, this view an application link. This will take you to the question on the application. So we've jumped over to the application tab, and now we've actually gone to the appropriate page. And we can see this field actually as it exists in the application, not just their answer, but the full HTML with any instructions that might have been there. So just a handy little feature there for folks to, if they're looking at this and they can't remember the context, they can jump over and just take a look at it in the application. So those are the three areas I wanted to highlight. There have been some additional changes. Obviously not enough time here to go through all of them, but if you go into your site admin in Spectrum Web Portal, log in as an administrator, go to site admin, you can go to release notes and see all the glorious technical details of the things that we've added in various versions. And so these are all grouped by the release number. This is all available here anytime for you to check out. It's searchable as well. So if you want to search for when a particular feature was changed, you can do that. But that is it. I will hand it back to you, Amy.
Great. Thank you, Jeff.
You bet.
If there's any questions, please feel free to type them in the Q&A or the chat, either one, and we can get Jeff to look into them, and we have others online. Let's see if I can take the sharing back. All right, let's see if there's any questions coming in.
No questions in the Q&A.
No questions. You got some great comments though. People are loving the enhancements, Jeff.
Excellent.
Good.
All right, we're glad to hear it. I'll throw a quick little plug out to one of our engineers. Mark Groseth is one of our panelists here on the call, standing by ready to answer questions. Mark is the lead developer on our Spectrum Web Portal, and we are just thrilled with the work he's done here putting this together. So well done, Mark. Thanks for all your hard work.
Yes, great. So if you come up with questions that you'd like to talk about these, my email address is on the screen. Please feel free to reach out to me. If you are having issues with your Spectrum, please enter a support case. That'll be your fastest way to get help on something on your Spectrum screen. We will route that to the appropriate engineer if they need to take a look. So if there's no more questions, I think we're about done. I want to thank everyone for joining today. Please check out the list. We did record this. If you'd like a copy, please reach out and we can send a copy of this recording to you. We won't be sending it out automatically, just if it's needed. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Brandon. Thanks, Mark, for being on, and Chrissy for all her hard work.